So I
Welcome
am
back,
back.
Moneybags.
Yeah, I'm back. Well, I am back from Japan again for the second time. And there's all sorts of stories I could tell, but I've chosen one kind of relevant to what we do here on this show. Have either of you ever heard of Super Potato?
What?
No.
No. So, Super Potato is this retro video game store in Japan. It's in Akihabara, which is really known for its like electronics and nerd stuff. And Super Potato, if you grew up playing video games, that is your haven. You owe it to yourself to check out Super Potato. They have not only do they have arcade machines on the top floor, but they have scores of retro consoles, retro games for sale. Just stuff from like the 80s, 90s, 2000s, all sorts of stuff, right? Like, so we're talking about video games, actual copies of video games, consoles, like accessories, peripherals, just nerd stuff, like collector's editions of things that existed like 20, 30 years ago that they still have for sale somehow. So you walk in there and like each floor is kind of like as you go higher, it goes further into the future, right? So like on the very first floor, you're finding like Famicom games and stuff like that. And it was just such a cool experience as a huge video game nerd walking into this place. Super cramped, super tiny, but it's just filled to the brim with stuff.
Did you buy anything?
No, I didn't buy anything. I just looked, but there was like this whole wall of Nintendo 64s. Like obviously, like not new.
Right.
But like they had N64 controllers for sale too. And what I found really interesting is they had like each controller had a rating on like based on different criteria, like how degraded is the stick quality, and it gave it a score, you know. So you could like and the higher quality controllers, like the less degraded controllers, were pricier. So, very cool. One other thing I wanted to bring up, So I found a Game Boy Micro there. They were selling a Game Boy Micro,
Very
but it was
nice.
apparently like a super, super limited edition Super Mario Bros. Game Boy Micro. I didn't even know this was a thing. I don't know
What was the color like?
Oh gosh, it was like a kind of like a cream colored with red outline.
Okay. I'm not familiar then.
And they were selling it for over $5,000. Like it was like it must have been like an insane limited collector's item. But I saw that, I was like, huh, that's really cool. Like I always had like a fondness for the Game Boy Micro. I always thought it was like a really neat
It's
kind
cool.
of
It sucked that it didn't play
version.
Game Boy Color games, but it was a cool little handheld.
And it was like definitely like the most niche version of the Game Boy. Like no one really had the Micro.
It fit in your pocket.
Like,
it was also like you better have good vision.
Yeah, it was very small.
Screen.
But it's just, I don't know, it's just such a slick device.
It's a cool.
And I saw
novelty.
that Game Boy Micro and I was like, dang, you know, like if I had infinite money, I would get this. But yeah, I mean, they were selling normal Game Boy Micros too. Like any console you could think of, they were selling in numerous quantities, which I thought was really cool. Like I walked past, they basically were selling every N64 game ever made. You could see the cartridges, you know, like they were just out there.
Yeah. That box art or anything on display?
Yeah, box art. They had
Nice.
like they had everything, man. It was a really cool place.
It's a weird console to experience now because the boxes were so impractical for those cartridges that like I'd never seen an N64 cartridge box until I was like probably 16 or something.
Yeah.
Because I bought all my games used as a kid, and the boxes just suck. They're not very collectible because of their size.
But no, like I considered buying some things there, like, but then I stopped myself because I was like, okay, if I get a GameCube game or a Nintendo 64 game, obviously
you're not even gonna be able to play it.
Region restricted,
Yeah.
right? Like back then things were region restricted. So I couldn't play it unless I got like a Japanese N64, which I could have done, but like it just felt like a whole thing at that point.
The mods are pretty simple to remove the region locking, I think, on a game.
I figured, yeah.
But you'd still have to do it. It'd be a pain.
Yeah. But it was more just like window shopping. I was looking around and everything. I was like, this is like a gamer's paradise. If you grew up gaming in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, like you're you're gonna be blown away by Super Potato. So
What a name.
just
Super
one of the
Potato.
What's that in
many
Japanese?
cool things. They just called it Super Potato. I have no idea. Like that's not me like Englishifying it.
Yeah.
They call it Super Potato.
Super Potato.
That's the name of the store.
That sounds like
Yeah.
a JoJo stand.
Yeah,
little,
I mean
yeah.
most things in Japan sound like JoJo stands. To be fair, especially when they try to sound cool by speaking English, which they do a lot, right? Like a lot of their marketing is like, what English words can we string together to sound cool, like whether or not it makes sense or not, which
That's very funny.
I find entertaining. Yeah. And welcome back to Game Talk. I'm your host, Dan Midmeon. Today I'm joined by Connor.
Hey, guys.
And Mike.
Hello.
And it's a bit of a slow week in terms of big gaming news. The GTA 6 trailer did come out, but we're not the biggest GTA fans here on the podcast, so you can find probably more qualified people to talk about that. But Connor, you had an idea for a topic this week.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about some of the best setup enhancing accessories that you can get for gaming. I think this conversation is going to have a lot more on the PC side because a console, you pretty much play with what comes in the box for the most part. You get you don't have a controller when you buy a PC. You have to buy one. You get a controller with a console. But I have a lot of stuff that I've picked up over the years that I think has really enhanced my PC using experience, and I imagine Mike has a similar experience.
Yeah.
And I know you
100%.
Ahmed take things very seriously, so I figured you'd have a few as well.
I'm a very
along the
serious
way.
guy.
Very serious PlayStation enjoyer. I guess I might fire us off with a controversial one, but an office chair, a nice office chair makes a huge difference if you're planning on sitting at your PC for a really long time.
Yeah, so right off the bat, it's okay. So your definition of accessory extends to
I think
something-
anything
Chair.
you're
Yeah.
experiencing while you're gaming. So I would
I
say
think that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the chair, headphones I think are a big deal. Obviously, if you're partial to a type of keyboard or mouse, if you've bought an aftermarket controller, but I would even say like if you're a Snuggie enjoyer and you like to, I would include
I get
that.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about chairs, my chair is not a gaming chair at all.
No,
It
and if
is
you
a
bought a
chair
gaming
for-
chair, you got ripped off. They're a bad
Yeah,
investment.
those are expensive, man. Those are like
They tend to fall
thousands of
apart very
dollars.
quickly too. Yeah.
Yeah, so my chair is a chair from Office Max, and I forget
Yeah.
the exact brand or name or whatever, but it is. I would bet you money that it's more comfortable than any gaming chair out there. It rules. It has some
Yeah.
really good lower back support too.
Yeah, and obviously you and I are both software engineers, but even if you're not, if
Yeah.
you have long gaming sessions of like more than an hour or two, you should do your back a favor. Like I have a buddy, Antonio, and every time I see his computer chair, it makes me cry a little. It's like held together with duct tape. It clearly is not held up over the years.
No, man, like like you're gonna regret that in 10 or 20 years if you're not regretting it yet.
Just
right
get a
now,
good chair.
yeah.
Just get a good chair.
And let me throw you a hot tip. This is maybe more relevant to people who live near major cities, or even mid-sized cities if they have a tech hub like Pittsburgh does. But if you are watching Facebook Marketplace, give it a while. Wait for a startup to go out of business. You can get a Herman Miller Aeron for like $200, and that's like one of the best chairs you're going to be able to get.
And that's like
They're-
an office chair.
Yeah, Herman Miller. Herman
Yeah.
Miller has a gaming chair, and if you must go gaming, I really don't think I would recommend any other gaming chair. But
Yeah.
their office chairs are just going to be really good. But that's if you're sitting at a desk.
Yeah, so chair was definitely not a gaming chair, but my desk absolutely was.
Oh yeah,
Gaming desk?
Yeah, I got
What's
a
that?
gaming desk.
Yeah. What's that
I
even
got-
entail?
What does that mean?
So, yeah, that's right. Neither of you have been to my place in Virginia yet, so you don't know. But so I got the Magnus, the Secret Lab Magnus Pro, like XL or whatever. I don't know if either of you have
I'm gonna look
heard
it
of
up.
Magnus,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
it's
hold
a standing desk. I think it looks really sleek, but the thing I like most about it is it has like this inner kind of shelf that can store all your cabling. So I think I've sent you guys screenshots of my desk before. It hides all of your cables, like your monitor cables, your
I like that. Yeah.
PC cables, so it looks very clean.
So I have a similar thing, and I spent a lot less. Well, mine's not a standing desk, but I
definitely dropped fat stacks on that desk.
What I did was I just got a basic table from IKEA. I don't remember what it was called, but it's just a wood table, and you buy the legs and the table separate because it's IKEA, and it's like that. And I just went on Amazon, and I think I spent $30 or something on a rack that I screwed into the bottom, and all my cables are hidden in that rack. So I think this desk total was like $130, something like that. It was very cheap, and I love it. It's really nice. It's very clean.
The standing desk, I know a lot of people swear by it. I gotta add my voice to that choir. Like, no, like I use it a lot. Yeah, it's very useful.
Yeah, when I need to stand,
especially for someone who spends a lot of time in that space. You know,
yeah, because you work from home a good bit. Yeah,
it's a game changer.
I'm just not somebody who
especially if
sits
you're working
down.
from home.
Yeah, I don't sit down long enough. I don't think I could ever stand while gaming. Do you do that?
No, not while gaming. No. Yeah.
Yeah, another desk accessory, while we're on that topic, that I would recommend to basically anyone, gaming or not, is a monitor arm that clamps onto the desk.
Oh yeah, I would get one of those.
Using the basic stand for your monitor, you're losing so much desk real estate,
Absolutely,
and it just doesn't tend to look very good. It might be my number one favorite desk upgrade I've ever done. It enhances the experience
it's up there.
so much.
Yeah, so I got a monitor arm after having like the default monitor stand for a while, and it like increased my space by a ridiculous amount.
Especially like you're playing blueprints and you have a pen
something.
and paper or something, like anything like that. If you have any extra things on your desk, you're gonna run out of space very quickly.
Yeah,
but it's also
and especially
just very aesthetic.
And I don't. You have a huge monitor, right, Connor? I think mine's a little bit smaller than yours.
34-inch or so.
Okay,
yeah,
okay. I think
wide.
mine's around that size actually. But yeah, like it like 30+ inch monitors. The stands for those they're even wider than the screen width. So it's not good. But
it's their like 3-dimensional like depth space that they take up that was really egregious to me. Whereas this is like the size of a mug or something, the space it takes up on my desk. It's really nice.
Yeah. And just the convenience of being able to manipulate the position of your monitor wherever you want to put it. It's great.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys like what you guys do in terms of sound, if you just use like a headphones or whatever, but I also splurged on some decent desktop speakers.
Yeah, I don't use speakers at my desktop mainly because of the space they would take up. But I am obviously I'm a big proponent of speakers. Like getting my if you're a console gamer, I would include this. Getting either a sound bar or like a decent budget audio video receiver and a couple of speakers that you can do even if you're sticking to stereo, but just getting that sound stage set up. Anything you do is going to beat the snot. I don't care how expensive your TV is. You can get a very cheap pair of speakers that's going to blow the sound of your TV out of the water, or a sound bar or something if you want to put in a little less effort. And that's going to revolutionize. That's like a whole nother dimension you're experiencing. Or a nice pair of headphones. And this is another thing I'm going to say. I would recommend highly against gaming headphones like Turtle Beaches or something. I was in that. I spent my high school gaming on a pair of Turtle Beaches, and then I bought some Astro A50s. I didn't buy them. I got them for Christmas, which were not bad headphones, but for the money, I could have had these, which I will actually like name drop these headphones because I love them so much. The Sennheiser Mass Drop Sennheiser 6XX.
Oh, I have those as well.
They're like an audiophile pair of headphones. They're going to sound great if you plug them straight into your computer. They're going to sound even better if you plug them into an amp and can actually like really feed them. They're like audiophile headphones, and they are going to cream any gaming headphones you buy at the same price point, and probably up to like $800, $1,000. They're probably going to be as good or better.
Yeah, those Sennheisers punch well above their weight in terms of like the price to performance ratio you're getting.
Extraordinary pair of headphones. I
just wanted to
cannot sing
say-
their praise enough.
I agree. They're great headphones. I just wish, personally, as I've gotten older, I get more irritated with things being on my head to the point where I almost never wear headphones anymore, which
So-
sucks because I do think
It's a really
the
weird
best,
thing to get irritated about.
I know,
honestly.
right? Like
That's-
it's so imagine how bad VR is for me, right? Like, but like even
Crazy,
the over the ear headphones, like I used to wear those while playing games all the time because I still believe like unless you have a really good surround sound system, that is
Mhm.
the best way to get really good sound while gaming, and sound is so important. It's like
I agree.
half
You
the
would have to
equation.
spend thousands of dollars to beat these headphones with
Yeah.
speakers. Which
and
I did. But
I just can't do it anymore. I'm just like it's too uncomfortable.
I'm gonna
which,
drop you a
is a
hot
shame.
tip, Ahmed, because these these headphones are notorious. This is like their biggest flaw. They do have a really, really heavy clamping force that's gonna give you a headache.
Yeah.
What you want to do, and I had to do this as well. You want to take a set of books that is a little bit wider than your head, and you want to put the headphones on it,
Oh.
and just leave it that way for like 2 days, and it's gonna
just, like, stretch it out.
significantly reduce. I don't know why they did the clamp because they're open back headphones, so they're not like creating a seal or anything. I have no idea why Sennheiser sells these with such a strong clamping force, but I did that, and I could wear these things for like days.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't
I might
feel
give
them
that
anymore.
a shot.
So
And it is just a thing. Like I get used to it eventually, but it's just
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like
I would get a headache from them when I first
I
got
do
them.
get a headache
Yeah,
sometimes when
it
I
was
wear
way
headphones.
too strong. They don't
Yeah.
bother me now. I mean, obviously, I still feel the weight of them pressing down, but there's no like squeezing anymore.
Yeah.
That's why I would
So yeah,
recommend that.
that's something I would try. But like, yeah, I just in general, like, sound is so important, and you don't really realize it until you experience good sound.
Until it's too late.
Yeah.
Same thing with a good microphone. As I've shown on video, I've been fiddling with the placement of it.
See, I would
been
say as a
bothering me,
gamer though,
But
there was a really popular trend when I was in high school to overspend, in my opinion. Like I wasn't doing podcasting or anything when I bought this Yeti mic. It's a Blue Yeti. I was just playing video games with people, and this is like an over $100 mic. I really don't think you need to spend that to play video games with your friends.
No, like, well, so okay, Mike streams though. Like he needs a good
no,
mic.
Mike needed it. I need it now. You need it, but like when I
No,
bought it
if
in
you're
high school,
just-
I was
if
just
you-
on
if you-
Skype.
If you're just playing video games, no, like you don't like. I'm totally fine. Like I so rarely play multiplayer games anyway. But when
Yeah.
I do, like lately, I've just been content with using the built-in mic on my DualSense controller.
Yeah, I tend to just use my phone.
so-
I'll use Discord. If I'm at my PC, obviously I use this mic. But when I'm playing a game on a controller on my TV, I will just bring up Discord on my phone, and Discord does a pretty good job of filtering the game audio, and I just
Yeah,
like use it like speakerphone.
and that technology, that filtering technology, is just getting better. Like especially looking at the Nintendo Switch 2, if what they claim is to be believed, that's quite impressive.
I find it a little dubious, their claim.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed too good to be true.
I'll be
I
testing
think,
it,
but-
like for sure,
yeah.
because I have a very loud blender I can run in the background.
Yeah. By the way, I will be missing the launch of the Switch 2, which is very
What do you
kind of
mean?
frustrating. Like I will not be home to receive my Switch 2 when it arrives.
No.
So I
Where are you
will
gonna?
be
Dang.
I will be in Florida.
Yeah.
So
Okay. You can't change the shipping. That
yeah,
sucks.
like I tried. Like apparently you can with Target and stuff, but I got it through Walmart and
yeah,
they don't-
it's
they
risky
don't
with
let you do
Target. There's a risk of them just canceling your pre-order if
Oh,
you try
that's
to
crazy.
change anything with shipping. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna mess with it. Yeah, it sucks because like I was set to get it on launch day, which I don't
Yeah.
even think yours is not.
It's up
coming
in the
launch day, is
air
it?
whether or not I'll get it at launch day, and if I don't get it on launch day or the day after, I'll also be missing it because I'll be in Hilton
Yeah.
Head. But
I don't know. At
and
some
I
point
also
we'll talk
like
about Switch 2.
I don't know how we're gonna record that episode yet, because I'm gonna be in Hilton
So I can
That's
say
a
that
problem
I'm not,
for later.
I'm not buying a Switch 2, so
Head. Yeah.
I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah. I had a spare pre-order, and I was like, should I even offer this to anybody? And everybody I knew that like wanted one got one, so I
You
didn't.
got a
Yeah, my,
spare too? Dang.
Yeah, I got my Nintendo one. My Nintendo.
I didn't get an email from Nintendo, and I'm furious.
I did get
'cause
an
I
email
definitely
from them.
met the criteria.
Yeah, I got an email. It expired on the 12th, so it expired 2 days ago. But I knew you already got yours. I offered it to one other
Yeah.
person, and they didn't seem interested. So
Maybe
it is what
mad.
it is.
Like, apparently, like, it was just a luck thing. Like, a lot of people who met the criteria didn't get the email, so
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, we got off on a tangent there.
Back to the topic at hand, yeah. I actually I don't have any experience with it, but the mod mic, if I was gonna get a Sennheiser 6XX, I would probably buy a mod mic. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I've seen a couple streamers
that?
advertise it, and it's like a little magnet, and it can stick on any pair of nice headphones, and it adds a microphone, so you don't have
Oh.
to have like an arm and everything. You can have like the drop down,
And
the
it
classic
sounds pretty
gamer
decent.
mic. Yeah, good enough for gaming with your buds. I wouldn't use it to stream probably, but it's plenty
Yeah.
good for gaming, and it's gonna beat the snot out of a DualSense mic. Like,
Yeah.
That DualSense controller microphone. That's crazy. That's crazy
It
work.
actually doesn't sound bad. It sounds better than you think it does.
Still
I've
crazy.
gamed with you. It sounds okay. It's
Yeah.
acceptable
Huh.
for what it is. Like,
And it filters out noise pretty well too.
yeah.
Okay, audio equipment. We went through mics, we went through headphones. I guess we can talk about monitors. We kind of touched on that earlier.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
if you're just trying to game, you can go very cheap on your monitor and be fine. I would prioritize response time over resolution for sure.
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I think
if you get an ultra wide, there's really no way you're going over 1440p. I don't think there's any ultra
yeah, I
wides
think that
in
is true. I
4K.
don't think there are
Yeah.
any ultra wide 4Ks.
I
anymore.
mean,
is
I
yours
work
not
at
is yours
I
not
work at
4K,
a-
Connor?
No, it's 1440p ultra wide, which
I
is
work
I
at
thought
an
it was 4K.
electronics retailer. I should know there's no 4K monitors. We don't have any.
it's
4K
4K
ultra wide.
wide, but only 1440 tall,
Yeah.
right? So, and
Yeah,
it's
no, I'm a huge 1440p defender. Like, I think that
Yeah.
is the perfect resolution. At that resolution, you can get really good frame rates out of a lot of games. You're not sacrificing a lot for resolution that
it's-
you're not even really going to notice unless you're really up close.
It is so crazy. I see people coming in to where I work and asking for like 240 hertz monitors and a computer that can run 240 frames per second. And I
Yeah.
look at them and say, how much you willing to spend? Because it's not enough.
Yeah, it's gonna
not
be
gonna
like
be enough.
it's gonna be minimum like $6,000
$1,000.
probably.
Yeah, it's
Whoa,
not enough.
Wait,
including the
six-
PC.
Yeah.
Oh, including then. Okay, no, the monitor is around.
So
So I have a
monitors are getting
14
cheaper.
I have a 1440p. Let's just talk about what we have. So
Yeah.
I have a 1440p OLED, 240 hertz monitor, and I paid around $1,000 for it.
You can beat that now. They're getting much cheaper. I think the second iteration of my monitor, which is it's the Alienware OLED, the 1440p ultra wide. They just released the second iteration of it, and it is 240 hertz now instead of 165, and it's only $800.
Wow, and it's ultra wide.
Yeah, but
That's pretty cool.
it doesn't have DisplayPort 2.1, so it has to use like display compression or something to hit
okay.
that 240, and that is unappealing to me. I'm happy with what I've got. I can't run most games above 165 anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I use a 144 1080p monitor, so I'm a little out of date nowadays. But I mean,
I'm not a
more
big
PC parts.
I'm not a huge believer in frame rates above 144.
I am
I don't
not
see
really
a
either.
huge
Yeah.
difference personally.
Hey,
I think
I
the,
agree there.
the
Yeah.
You're
OLED
chasing
response
a dragon at that point.
The OLED response time, I do notice a difference. Like this monitor versus my old one that was 144. It was a VA panel, I think, and I definitely can notice a difference in the smoothness, like how quickly I see my inputs. It's not something you can see, but you can kind of feel it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
The pixel response
Yeah.
time. And I'm a big proponent of that. I will say though, you don't need to spend $800 on a monitor if you don't want to. It's not like
No, you don't.
it's not life changing. I would get the headphones long before I got the monitor, which I
Yeah,
did
it's-
in real life. That is what I
and-
did.
And if you're trying to get competitive advantage, just get good. That's your competitive
Yeah,
advantage.
for sure.
The
Just
monitor,
get good.
getting the difference between 144 and 240 hertz monitor in terms of you getting that kill is so minuscule unless you are the top like
Yeah.
1% of gamer.
Linus
Yeah,
Tech
unless
Tips
you're
has
like
some
in a highly
videos.
competitive environment.
Even in a highly
Like, unless you're a
competitive
pro,
environment,
basically.
it's like
Yeah.
it really does not make that much of a difference.
Mm.
There's some LTT videos where they did reasonable, I would say, scientific. They didn't have like a huge sample size, but they
Yeah.
they tested their staff to see if they would perform better with a higher refresh rate monitor, and it was pretty marginal improvements
Yeah,
that
like 1% on that. And that's
Getting
if you're
good
willing to
is-
sacrifice a
it's-
lot of quality to go 240 frames per second.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Like most games running in optimized settings, you're not gonna be running it at 240 hertz, even if
Yeah.
you have a 240 hertz monitor, right? Like it's
Right.
probably gonna be running somewhere from like 100 to 150.
Now the
At least in
frame
my
gen is
experience.
becoming a thing. You know, you might
Yeah,
get
frame
there, but
gen
that's
could
not
change
for
that
competitive
equation,
games.
but
Yeah,
yeah.
that's going to cause some artifacting with frame gen.
So controllers, I've always been an opponent, a direct opponent of the Xbox 360 controller. I've never really liked the feel of it.
Yeah, so that's a hot take, man. I think I don't know, Mike, you and I are on the same page. You're right.
I mean, it's a good controller, but I prefer the PlayStation design better for my hands.
Me too.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so I think we all have slightly different opinions. I think the Xbox controller is like the perfect form factor. The only PlayStation controller I think is better now is the DualSense, and just barely.
I think the DualSense is better. I do not think the DualShock 4
Have you
was
actually
better.
held the DualSense now, Connor? I don't
know that I have. I just like by
Yeah.
eye I can tell it's big enough that I think it's fine.
It's big enough now, yeah.
The DualShock 4 I just hated I hated it in my hands. I actually like the DualShock 3. I think I'm pretty rare in that, but I liked it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like the 4 over
I remember
the 3.
I remember you saying you like 3/4 when we did our controller ranking episode, and it was just like that's crazy.
You could persuade me away from the 3 if you got rid of the stupid light on the 4. The DualShock 4 loses like all of its points for having a dumb light that blinds me at night.
The light is a little excessive, and I do like how for the DualSense they made it very subtle. It's only the edges of
didn't know it
the
was even there.
touchpad now.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
just that lights up. So
Obviously, I'm a proponent of the Steam controller, but I haven't even been using that. I use you can go pretty cheap on a controller. I feel like I have an 8-bit do SN30 Plus. I think it was like $30. Bluetooth works great unless you're playing Clair Obscur Expedition 33, where a Bluetooth controller is a massive hindrance. But I love that controller. I've really enjoyed it. I would not overspend on a controller, and if you are going to overspend, I wouldn't overspend. I could see a strong argument for a DualSense Edge or something if you were like balling out.
yeah,
I could
And
not
as
see
someone who-
any sane argument for the Xbox Elite controller. That is an
And-
insane thing to
And
buy,
see,
I
the
think.
thing about controllers on PC as well is if you are a capital G gamer playing competitive games on PC, you're just going to get hindered by buying
yeah.
a controller. If you're trying to play COD with a controller on PC,
But I play Monster Hunter, Mike, and I am
play
using a
Monster Hunter with
controller.
mouse and keyboard. You can't stop me.
Couldn't be me.
It'll be mouse and I will play a platformer with mouse and keyboard. I don't care.
Yeah.
that's crazy to me. I can't. There are very few games I play with mouse and keyboard. Only like strategy games. Everything else is controller.
I'm a big I couldn't play a shooter on controller to save my life. I feel like I have one of my hands tied behind my back trying to play a
you're
shooter on
hindering
controller.
yourself.
That's fair. I it's just habit for me, like where I'm like
Yeah,
even
it's habit
shooters,
for
I'm
me. Like I've been playing shooters on keyboard and mouse since I was 13. So
Mm.
trying to do it on controller. I'll do it to play a game that's really good, like Uncharted or something. But a middling shooter.
So what controller are you using now, Connor? I thought you said you weren't using your Steam controller.
I use an 8-bit
8
do
8-bit do,
SN30
okay.
Pro, I think it is. It's shaped kind of like a Super NES controller. I got it largely for emulation because at the time I still had my Steam controller working. But now it's my go-to for everything, and it's fine. Gets the job done. I would say it's as good as as it beats a DualShock 4 handily. It's like fine.
What about you, Mike? What's your
I actually use a DualShock 4.
DualShock
Okay.
4? Okay.
Yeah.
I asked you to because like you guys are mostly on PC, so like you get to really kind of choose what
Yeah,
you use.
and I think that's
whereas, like,
fascinating. Yeah.
yeah, console
You-
players are kind of relegated to whatever.
What do you don't have a controller on your PC probably, huh?
No, well, so whenever I do play on my PC, it's almost always an Xbox controller,
okay.
Xbox Series controller, Xbox. I don't think there's any difference between one and Series, so it's that.
It's very
brand of controller.
modest, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I almost always go Xbox when I play on my PC. There are some exceptions, though. When I want to get the extra, like, buttons through the back paddles, I do use the DualSense. And the DualSense
you have an
has,
Edge?
like... Yeah, the DualSense Edge, yeah. And it does have really good, like, proprietary integration with PC, so... You can
Yeah, that's
create
the
profiles
thing.
and stuff there.
Pretty much any controller you connect to a PC is going to be read as an Xbox controller. Like that's the downside of the SN30.
Yeah.
I've had girls over and stuff, and we've been playing video games. And the button that comes up on the screen is not the button on the controller because my controller has Nintendo Switch layout. And so A is B, and like I can do that in my head. It's not a big deal. I don't look at the controller when I'm gaming. But if you play a little less often, if you are someone who ever looks at the controller, that could be very confusing.
Yeah, no.
And there's like settings in Steam to fix that, but I don't like the Nintendo Switch button layout.
And some PC ports do offer the option to change your displayed buttons.
Yeah.
Regardless of a controller type. I know World offers that. I was very pleased to see Monster Hunter World offered me the option to select my button layout.
It's a big PlayStation enjoyer. Monster Hunter is a PlayStation franchise. Even though it's not literally anymore, it is still in its soul very PlayStation oriented.
Right. We talked about controllers. Like I want to bring up briefly mouse and keyboard as well. Do you guys have any? I don't know. Like, is there anything special about your mouse and keyboard? Do you use a wired or wireless mouse?
I go wired for latency, although I think that's less of an issue. If you're willing to spend a little money, you can get a very low latency wireless mouse. I just hate the batteries dying. I used to have a wireless headset, and like the battery dying would annoy me so much. I'd just have to be done gaming when the battery would die. That's not really the case with a mouse, I guess. I have a Corsair mouse. I think it's fine. It hasn't really... I might have unreasonable expectations of lifespan. I bought it in like 2020, and it's kind of... The middle click is dying on me. I play a lot of video games. I middle click way more than the average person does because that's how you ping in like Fortnite and stuff. So the mouse dying is not like... And also, I might be able to clean it and bring it back to life. I don't know. I will say my keyboard is also Corsair, and it's like a K95B or something like that. And it's a piece of trash. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. I really liked it when I first got it. It's RGB. It's mechanical. It sounds like I don't know if you can hear that.
I actually can't.
Discord got it.
But it'll probably show up in Audacity. It sounds fine if that's something you're into. I don't think it's anything remarkable, but 5-year lifespan, and it's already started repeating keys, like the gaming keys, like R repeats, WAS and D repeat when I'm typing, and it's driving me insane.
Sucks.
I'm planning to replace it with a...
I was gonna say I have a Logitech keyboard. I don't know if you've looked into
I'm getting
replacements, but
the peak gamer keyboard, the Wooting 60HE Plus.
Never heard of that before.
I'm actually building it.
Sounds crazy though.
I bought the module and I'm building it myself because you can do some customization. Yeah, like I'm like in there, dude.
Going way too hard.
You don't have to. You can buy a pre-built one. It's just not necessarily going to be as cool as mine. It might be cooler. It depends on how bad I mess it up.
Yeah.
But those ones...
That's new to me. I've never heard of someone building their own keyboard.
It's typically among like typing enthusiasts who do it, but I am both someone who types a lot and someone who games. So building the Wooting has Hall effect keys. So what's really cool about it is you can it's analog. You can have a game. You can essentially emulate a joystick. So how hard you're pressing the W key will influence how fast your character walks. And that's kind of neat. I don't know if I'm ever even going to use that. The reason Hall effect was attractive to me is because it's good for like 50 billion key presses or something before it's going to wear out on me, which should buy me some time. It is expensive. The Wooting, it's like, I think $280 or something total for the built one. The module's a little cheaper, but obviously you have to buy keycaps and switches, which I think total the keyboard that's finished will have been a little over $300, I think, for me.
That's the thing about keyboards and mice is the more you pay, the better it's going to be, usually.
Yeah. But realistically, what you should, if you're like balling on a budget, just get a cheap membrane keyboard. Yeah. It's gonna have a lot of longevity, more so than a mechanical.
Unless you're like, I don't know, hyper competitive, these things don't really matter. Like the mouse I picked, the keyboard I just picked like an RGB keyboard, mechanical keyboard, Logitech. Yeah. It wasn't like insanely expensive or anything. It was around, I would say mid-range. I would say around like $100.
A high DPI mouse is going to make a difference, but you can get a high DPI mouse for $20.
Yeah, the key here, though, for a lot of keyboards is how many keys can it accept before it starts
right.
not remembering key presses.
Right, most are 3.
Yeah, a lot of the cheaper ones are 3.
Yeah.
The higher end, the middle range gaming. Once you get into the gaming ones, they kind
It's
of
like 7 or
7 or
arbitrary.
8
Yeah.
or more. Yeah,
I think
I
the
think
Wu-Tang
my-
can do an arbitrary number. It can do as many as you can press.
Yeah, I think my Razer is as many as it can press. I don't think I've ever reached a point where I'm dropping inputs.
That's interesting.
Ra-
I never
Ra-
heard of that before.
Razer makes good products. I think they
Razer
tend to
makes-
be a little expensive for
Yeah.
what they are, but
super
they're going to
expensive. But
they're going to get on base, right? They're always going to deliver something good.
my average lifespan on a Razer product is at least 7 years.
Yeah.
7 years plus.
Hard to complain about
Yeah,
something like that.
It's hard to complain when this mouse is older than COVID.
Yeah.
Like, and it's still
Crazy way to put it.
fine.
Yeah, speaking of COVID, that's when I built my PC and
Yeah,
got my
same.
whole setup. So yeah, it's going strong. Granted, I don't use it as frequently as you two, but it's
That's when I got my keyboard. Was when I built this PC on the podcast, and that was when I started using this keyboard.
Oh yeah, we actually videoed it.
I don't know if that's
Put it-
available
yeah,
anymore.
yeah.
I almost hope it's not. That was not my most
No,
attractive
I
time, but
Is it? It might not. Like, I don't remember if we like just got rid of all the old videos. We might have.
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, I built this on the show. I didn't build the keyboard or anything.
Yeah.
Any other like accessories you guys have really liked?
You know, it's funny. Like, when you mentioned accessories, I was gonna talk about console accessories, but like,
I want to
we
hear
spent-
console as well. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, like, we've already spent a good. This is basically a PC accessory episode.
Oh yeah, it
30
has been like
37
40
minutes in
yeah.
already. Are there any other PC accessories though?
I mean, I'm gonna say one
shout out?
that's like maybe like an insane one, but a water bottle.
A water bottle.
Now
Deodorant.
we're stretching it.
like a water bottle versus a glass, so you stay hydrated.
Can we? The real
I'm just looking at
gamer
what's on my
accessory.
desk, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
Deodorant.
I mean,
yeah, deodorant's a
Yeah,
huge
deodorant
one.
is a
Ultimate
huge-
gamer accessory.
ultimate
what
gamer
toothpaste do you
accessory.
guys use?
yeah.
Well, I actually just bought the Crest Gamer line.
Why is there no
G-Fuel.
gamer like super powered gamer deodorant? Like, give me that like Smash tournament grade deodorant.
I was gonna say I know one accessory you're not using. and
Smash
that's
tournament
soap.
grade. The one I guess I'm thinking about what's on my desk, and I'm thinking right because I'm not at my desk right now.
Right? Yeah.
But I mentioned the speakers. The one thing I have is like the giant mouse pad. I don't know if you guys use
yes,
that. But
I like a desk pad. It's easy to
I
clean.
really like the desk pad. It's
Yeah. Mine's just black.
yeah, same. Yeah.
Yeah, but it adds like a I don't know. I'm really into aesthetics on my desk, and all of my accessories are black, except these headphones are like actually a little blue, but that's fine. All my accessories are black. My desk mat is black. My Steam Deck is black. I actually usually have my Steam Deck sitting on my desk just for basically an aesthetic reason.
Aesthetic purposes.
Yeah.
purposes, yeah. Mike, what about your setup? Anything you want to shout out there that we haven't
I
already?
just have a desk mat, but I don't really have much here.
Mike, do you have a HOTAS or anything?
No, I don't have a HOTAS. I
Okay.
don't have the money for a HOTAS.
I figured of the three of us, you'd be the one to have one.
I want one
they are
so
cool.
bad,
Do you know
but
what we're talking
they're
about,
so
Ahmed?
cool.
Yeah, like
Hands on the
cockpit or
actual
something.
system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very cool. I used to have a joystick. Do I have it here? No, I actually don't know where it's gone. It would look really nice up on my shelf. My brother just came home from a yard sale and handed me a very old Logitech joystick one day, and I found out that Kerbal Space Program had native joystick mapping in the game, and that it had like a throttle on it and everything, and that was like such a huge game changer. My trips to the moon were revolutionized that day. It felt so cool using an actual joystick. That's something I would actually if I ever got back into Kerbal Space Program in a big way, I would probably get another joystick.
Yeah.
It's just really fun.
Yeah, so I think I've talked about everything I want to shout out on my desk.
Yeah, I think I pretty much covered mine as well.
without getting into territory of what's in the actual PC itself, but that
Yeah, and
maybe
I have
another episode.
I got a couple other things on my desk that are more for work that I'm not going to talk about.
I mean, I guess I have a digital audio controller, but that's just for the microphone.
Yeah, I have
Oh,
a digital audio
A stream
controller, or a
di- yeah.
digital
A
analog
DAC.
converter.
Digital audio controller.
Okay, what's the difference?
Okay, I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
Okay, because I have a DAC and an amp, and like that's the second thing you buy. If you buy a nice pair of headphones, you buy a DAC to make them sound even better. A DAC and an amp. But
mine's
that
kind of combined
increases
all
the
in
price.
one. But
Mine is also an all-in-one. I bought I'll just say it.
also have my
We're here.
Elgato Stream Deck, but
Yeah, that's if you're gonna stream. If you're a lot of PC gamers stream at least a little bit. But I
Stream
have
Deck's not as essential though.
I got a shit Magni Unity, I think it's called, and it is a digital to analog converter and an amp built into one, and I really like it. It's got a nice dial on it. It's got more than enough power to power the Cine's. And it did like when I bought these headphones, it felt like hearing my music for the first time. When I bought the amp, it felt like that again. Like it was that
it
big
really
of an
does.
improvement. Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like taking cotton out of your ears. Like it was such a huge improvement. I would recommend both very highly, but I would recommend you do them separately so that you get that experience twice. It's kind of and also like space out that, you know, if you do them together, it's like $400 or something. If you do them one at a time, it's like $200 twice, I guess. After pay it. I can make it cheaper for you.
But yeah, I think people have a pretty good mental image of our desks now, right? Like we've kind of talked about
I'm wondering
everything
if,
on them. So
with Nintendo making this drive for the Nintendo camera, I wonder if a webcam will someday become an integral part of the PC gamer setup. Because a lot of us have them.
It is like on paper, it's ridiculous for you to say that, but Nintendo is the one that sets trends. You know, like they could absolutely bring this webcam thing they're pushing. Like it could just become a mainstream thing after they pull it off. It wouldn't be the first time. So
I do not want webcams to become popular in games with strangers, but I play a lot of games with just my friends on PC. Yeah. So I think it'd be hilarious, like a Left 4 Dead mod or Minecraft. If Minecraft has, I don't know what Minecraft would do with it. But
like plaster your face on your character.
Yeah, on Steve. Yeah. Lava.
Like, I mean, if it was any but Nintendo, I'd be like, that's not going to happen. But like, Nintendo has done crazier things that they have willed into reality. So
that said, I'm not buying that stupid camera. I'm not paying $50.
I'm not getting the camera. There's no way.
I might plug this one into it because apparently any webcam can work. But
I don't know. Like, I guess it's just a question of like how in touch with young people are Nintendo. Like, are like kids and teens gonna use that camera functionality?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess
I don't even know if it's a question of how in touch they are as much as how much cultural sway they have. Because it's not whether or not you want to, it's whether or not Nintendo can get you to do it. Right,
yeah, exactly.
And I honestly, like, if it came bundled in,
they could.
I would use it with Mario Kart. I think it's funny. I don't think me or any of my friends are willing to spend on top of our $450 to $500 console another $50 for so I can see I know what my friends look like.
Right.
I don't need to see. I can imagine how mad they are when I red show them. Right? I don't need to see it.
Yeah. All right. Do we have anything else to say about our desks?
You got $1,200 sitting around. You know, that was you can get a VR headset if you want to get an HTC Vive.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on VR. That's a whole.
Really, I wouldn't spend more than like, I think it's $500 for a MetaQuest 3, $450 to $500, or a 3S, which is like $300, I think. If you're buying a VR headset, those are the ones to buy right now.
You know,
weird
I actually
to call it an accessory.
It is. Yeah, it is weird, but it also kind of is an accessory.
It is to me, yeah. I don't use it standalone.
I did get the PSVR 2 PC adapter, and I still have not used it yet. I still need to do that. I'm probably going to play Half-Life Alyx using that.
You and I should drop into No Man's Sky sometime.
Yeah.
That works really well on PlayStation or PC.
One of these days, I'm gonna
Mike, you should too.
Back
You've
into
got
VR.
the Quest 2. Yeah.
I need to charge my Quest 2. It's kind of dead. I need to get a new
my Quest 3 has been
for it because I had battery corrosion kill one of or slightly damage the plastic on one of them. So now occasionally when it rumbles, the rumble motor will shake loose.
It's crazy that you had that issue already.
Well, the Quest 2 is pretty old.
Too long ago.
And just a battery locked
yeah.
or leaked in there.
Batteries.
You just left the battery in there. Okay.
AA batteries are a ticking
AA
time
battery,
bomb,
yeah.
or AAA. You know, any
Yeah.
replaceable batteries.
I've never had that issue with AA batteries, and I've left them in devices for so long.
I have nightmares. Like as a kid, it happened to me all the time. Like I would pick up my Wii remote that I had.
I was gonna say
I hadn't played my Wii.
Wiimote for me too. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was always the Wiimote where they were just busted in there.
My dad managed to clean it up. My dad's pretty handy with stuff like that, but it's nasty and it's dangerous. It's extremely toxic. You don't want your animals to eat it. Like it's replaceable batteries suck. And also they're like ecologically like a nightmare. Cause like you're not supposed to. I think it's illegal to throw them away. I'm not actually sure if that's the case. You're supposed to recycle them in some way, but nobody does it.
Right.
I hate that devices are still coming out that take like replaceable AA batteries. That's crazy to me.
Xbox
I always
controllers, come on.
Xbox. I mean, I get the argument that you don't have to interrupt your gaming because you can swap out the batteries. Just give me 2 battery packs, or give me a replaceable battery pack that is rechargeable.
Let me take the battery pack out. Just give me rechargeables. I think we're past the days of alkaline batteries.
I always put rechargeables. Like I have rechargeable Lion batteries in my Quest controllers. My TV remote, this is a total tangent, but my TV remote is solar powered.
That's crazy.
It has a solar panel on the bottom, and it's funny because it was always dead at my place in Morgantown because
no sunlight.
Because there was no sunlight, and now I live here with these colossal windows, and I've never seen it drop below 100%.
Oh my
That's
God.
awesome.
Those calculators where if you cover the solar panel, it turns the calculator off.
I'm getting a dang tan working from home here, guys.
Either that or skin cancer.
It's a lot of sunlight, God.
Apply sunscreen while you're sitting in your house working.
Dude, I'd be
That's
furious if I had to do that.
All right, you guys want to move on to what we're playing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually haven't been playing a lot of games because it's been I think I mentioned my glare issues last week, but there are just many hours when I get off work that it is very difficult to play games here, so I've just been doing other stuff.
I want to talk about something.
Okay.
So I think it wasn't last week. When was I on last?
2 weeks
2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Connor, you talked about Clair Obscur at Expedition 33.
Yeah.
And I just railed on it.
Yeah,
I
you
said,
did.
like,
You were grumpy.
I hated this game. I hated the environments, the characters, the music.
Yeah.
I just hated everything
Is it
about
because it was French?
He hates the French.
I hate the French.
Yeah.
No, but like I also said that day, the day I played that game, I got no sleep because of the dang Switch 2 pre-order. I was up all night trying to pre-order this thing, and now I won't even be able to play it when it launches, so what was the point of all that? But anyways, so that day just sucked, and I was in a bad mood. So I had about an hour and 15 minutes in that game.
Mhm.
When I got back from Japan, I was just like, okay, I know all the praise this game is getting. It didn't really click with me the first time I tried it. Let me try it again. So I straight up deleted my save.
I was really hoping you had, because I think the intro to this game is magnificent. I think it's so good.
I just deleted it. I was like, I need to come into it with fresh eyes.
Yeah. And
I am comfortable enough to say that I was completely wrong about this game.
Thank God.
It's a very good game.
Good. It just keeps getting better too.
It's a great game. I will say, like, some of my initial criticism still holds. I think Gustav is a terrible character.
Well, let me tell you. Once you get to Act 2, Gustav haters are eating.
Well, okay, so I have gotten to that moment, and I did enjoy that moment. But I will say, so one other thing. It might be kind of related, might not be. For some reason, when I got back from Japan, the first thing I did was binge Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah, I had just done that too. I'm a big Charlie Cox enjoyer.
And I was just like, you know what, Charlie Cox, you're all right. I like you. And it just watching that show reminded me, just Daredevil is like up there with the all-time superhero shows. Like, it's probably number one. Like,
the original
there's nothing else like it. Yeah, the original is untouchable.
I'm a Jessica
Born Again,
Jones guy,
slightly worse, but like, you know, Daredevil, Charlie Cox, and Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah,
those two were born to play those roles. Like, straight up, very good. But all that being said, after watching Born Again, I could hear Charlie Cox as Gustav in the game, and that made him less grating to me. But I do think there is something off about Charlie Cox's performance in the game, and I think it's not due to his, like, actual acting. I just feel like he's whispering or something, or, like, his audio is turned down compared to the other actors. It really feels that way to
I
me.
mean, he's very
Like,
Gustav is very soft-spoken as a character.
he is soft-spoken, but it's, like, to the point where, like, sometimes I'm like, "What did you say?" Like, if I didn't have subtitles on, I'd be like, what are we doing here? Why are you so soft?"
I am in love with this game, though.
It's a very good game, and the more I play it, the more I enjoy it. I think the thing that impresses me the most, honestly, the gameplay. The gameplay is so good. The turn-based battling, so good. And I can very clearly see the inspiration from Persona here. In more ways than one. I'm starting to get into some of the social aspects of this game. And I'm like, huh, that's straight from Persona 2.
I still don't know where that's going, though. Like, I haven't gotten any benefits from it yet, but I do like it.
Yeah, like, and I wonder if it's just for the sake of fleshing out the characters more, or if there's gonna be some sort of tie-in to the gameplay like there is with Persona. Maybe not, like, that'd be maybe too much to ask, but, like, this game is doing things, like, it doesn't have to do what Persona does. What it's doing is very good on its own. And, exploration is just so much fun in this game because the environments are just so I mean, it's just
that
like
underwater section. Like,
yeah, like, when you're underwater but not underwater, it's just like, how do you, it's like otherworld. They captured this otherworldly feel.
And I love
very
the characters are just like, so many strange things have already happened to them that they're just not even really talking about it.
Yeah, and yeah. And I do think this is intentional, but I guess this is another slight criticism I have, is because, like, the intro to this game is so dire, right? Like, and you understand the stakes immediately. Like, these characters are, like, in an apocalyptic situation. And then to go from that, like, when you go on your expedition and you're, like, in the gestural village and stuff, and I'm like, okay, I get that there's moments of levity here to kind of make
I
sure
like
it's not
that
so
all hits
dour,
for
but
me.
it, like, I was just like, like, you
Because
guys are
you
on a
have
mission,
to
like, they're on a mission to save themselves from extinction. Like, and I feel like if I was on a mission like that, I wouldn't be goofing off.
but in context, they were born knowing that they were gonna die at 33. Like, they've known since the day they were born that this was the case. Like,
and again, this is a very minor gripe. Like, I'm just finding things to pick at now. To bolster my earlier arguments. But, like, overall, I think this is a brilliant game. I was totally wrong with my earlier assessment. I was just grumpy when I was playing it.
It's going to be in the Game of the Year discussion for sure, I think.
I think it is, yeah. And I think, like, just judging by how people talk about it, it just gets better the more you play it. So I'm excited, like, because I still feel like I'm relatively early. And I do want to talk about, like, the combat a little more, right? Like, I think it's brilliant how they weave in, like, the active parrying and dodging, right? So, like, I think more turn-based games need to do this, right? Because, like, adding that extra element of interactivity, it just makes you feel more immersed in a game like this, I think. It looks like there is some issue. Are you guys here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You guys just both weren't moving, and I was, like, confused.
Sorry, I'm ordering takeout.
But you agree with that, right, Connor? Like, the active battling, the dodging, the parrying, it adds so much to a turn-based game.
I'm going to say something really vulnerable here, so you guys have to be nice to me.
Yeah.
I'm getting skill filtered by this game in a pretty big way.
Really?
I have not. So I'm farther than you, but I don't think I'm a lot farther than you. And I am against a boss right now that I tried to beat, like, 5 or 6 times last night, and it really frustrates me because they keep his attacks look the exact same, except they get longer in the second half of the fight.
Oh man, that's got to be a nightmare to time.
Yeah, and I'm doing this on a Bluetooth controller, and, like, I actually like the way the game is at this point. I find the boss fights easier than the normal enemies for some reason. The boss fight attacks tend to be more bombastic, but as a result, the timing is easier for me to get down.
Yeah.
And because this game is so reliant on parries, I just find it very difficult to win if you are not nailing the parries that I I ended up like I actually like was like getting so frustrated. It took me over 10 attempts to beat a normal enemy, but then I beat it, and when I finally beat it, I could parry every single attack, and so I just like farmed them for XP. Not even farmed them. I just killed everyone that I found.
Like, kind of get in the zone to do the parrying. And I will say, like, I'm very good at the parrying, but I've always like I'm good at parrying in video games. That's just like a skill I'm kind of proud to say that I have, I guess.
Yeah.
But so the parrying, the dodging, I don't have any issue with that. I enjoy it immensely because I think it does provide like an extra degree of challenge, like a risk reward thing. Like if you, especially if you go with the parries, right? Because if you mess up, you get hit, and like it's not like I don't know. You die if you take a few hits, right? It's not like you could just take a billion hits.
Yeah.
So like you better be dodging or parrying most of the things the enemies throw at you.
I think the problem is that from a story perspective, this game makes me want to lean back and like soak it in,
enjoy it. Yeah,
but the second I'm in combat, I'm in the gamer lean, dude. I have to be.
But there is, I don't know. I don't want to say this is the future of turn-based RPGs because I do think there is value in the very chill like JRPG, like a Dragon Quest. Like I don't want to be actively pressing buttons, or Pokemon, right? Like I don't want to be pressing buttons during those games.
But I do really like this.
In a game like this, it's awesome. And I also wanted to comment on the Pictos systems.
It's really good, right?
And the Luminar. I don't know what the permanent buff you get from using a Pictos. So like it's just sort of unique, right? Like and granted, I haven't played too many, I guess, Final Fantasy or really any historical Final Fantasy games, so I don't know if it's ripping off of one of those systems, but it's pretty new to me.
I think it's novel in this game. I've seen other people saying it's new.
Yeah, so you each character can equip up to 3 Pictos, and if you use a Pictos 4 times in battle, you unlock its permanent buff. As a buff, you can apply by using a certain number of like luminous points to.
I didn't know you had.
Right?
So that's probably why I'm getting steamrolled, is because I didn't know you had to do that second step. I thought I was rolling with all these buffs.
Oh no, dude!
No, I straight up didn't know that.
Your characters are probably like 1/10 the strength they should be.
That sucks, dude.
That's crazy. Okay, hold up. Let's talk about this. So when you get like those items that give you those extra points, do you not go to the curator or whatever back at your camp and spend the points to get?
I have been doing
what
that.
I'm talking about.
I've been upgrading my weapons, and I've been upgrading my. I've been upgrading my weapons, and I've been upgrading the healing tent and the
Not that though. The other option where you can give yourself like spend that currency to give each character more points.
Yes,
so you can equip more of those passive. Okay,
I thought
you have done that.
You had to do something. I thought I was just making
you have
my
to go into the
better.
menu.
No, I haven't done that.
Switch from your Pictos to your like luminous, and I'm calling it. It's not luminous, but it's something close to that menu, and then you have to equip them and spend those points. That's crazy that you haven't been doing that.
So that's why I'm like getting my
that's why you're weak.
Yeah. Oh my god. Because I was actually like I was like. My pride wasn't letting me. I'm playing it on normal, and my pride was not letting me turn it down to like story mode or whatever.
You're playing it on like masochist mode, where you're going.
This is not the first time I've done this.
Yeah, without the requisite passives.
And this is something that bothers me a little bit about complex RPGs in general, is that they do often dump a lot of info on you very early in the game, and they don't check in later to make sure that you're doing it. And I clearly missed it.
I'm okay with it because I play a lot of RPGs, so I'm like used to this information dump and like experimenting with all the systems. But if you don't, like, I can easily see how you could miss something like that. And I will say one big criticism I have of this game is the UI, the menus. I think are atrocious.
Yeah,
and especially on console. Like I imagine on PC you can just click on everything, right? But like on console, it's like
on controller. So
okay, yeah, it's difficult to see what you have highlighted when you're going from character to character. I'm just like, come on, guys. Yeah,
I do like that when you're in combat, though, it highlights the theoretically optimal attack in gold.
Is that what the gold is? I didn't realize.
It's saying this is probably a good move because like some of the characters are really complicated. I don't always.
The other thing, I love that, right? Like each character has their own mechanics in combat. We didn't even get into that.
Now I will say I did love that. Yeah. Until it put me in a situation. I got to the point I had 5 people in my party, and I lost 2 of them, and it was 2 that I really liked and used consistently, and I was stuck with 1 that I liked and 2 that I didn't really know how to use, and I was like, oh my god, they just like 10x'd the difficulty of the game to me because I don't remember how to use it. Was
the mechanics of each character.
Lune was a character I never really got the hang of, and I was having to use her, and I'm like, I know you're supposed to like get a like color, and then once you have the colors you use the magic, and I'm like, what do I do?
Depending on what sparks she has like different buffs to her spells. It's an interesting system.
It is.
And I have taken the time to get to like each character I have so far. I understand very deeply now, right? Like, and even like the latest. Well, okay, we'll go into spoilers here in a sec, but
Mike's gonna play the game, right, Mike? You said
at some point, yeah.
So probably maybe no spoilers.
So,
maybe we'll get to spoilers at Game of the Year time.
I will get to very light spoilers. I'm not going to go through major story spoilers. Okay, so we're going to avoid spoilers. So I will just say the only spoilers are names of characters here. Okay. So when I first got CL, and I might not be saying her name right.
That sounds right.
Their names are.
She's my favorite, by the way. I love CL.
She's great. Honestly, I think all the characters are great. Gustav was the only weak link to me, where I was like, you're not really much of a character. You're just
I have
kind of
liked
a generic
all of
hero.
them. I've liked all of them, including the villains. I would die where I stand for Eskia. I would do anything for him.
Yeah. But like I was never a big fan of Gustav. And yeah, like I just think he's kind of a wet noodle. But I think Mael is great. I think Lune is great, and I think CL is great as well.
Dude, Mael being 16 and dealing with all this stuff, they wrote it really well.
Okay, I thought she was like in her early 20s. I didn't know she was 16.
She's 16. She because if you do the math, she was like, she has 9 years until her Gommage. And you lose 2 years every year because you age a year and the year goes down. So
I didn't even think about it that way. Wow.
Yeah, so she's like 15 or 16. Yeah, she's very young to be doing all this, and it shows. She is a little immature, and she's a teenager, and she's watching everybody die around her.
So going like back to the combat and the characters, right? Like when I first unlocked CL, I was like, this is too complicated. I'm just gonna stick with Gustav, Mael, and Lune, and just ignore you. But then I actually was like, okay, I'm gonna learn you, and and she's crazy. Like if you get the stacks on, and then like if you get 10 or 20 stacks on, it's basically over. You're gonna hit like max damage.
Yeah, max damage I think is 10,000. Like it's 9999.
Yeah, it's 9999. Yeah, exactly.
And I can consistently get a 999. Yeah. And what I like about her. So I have 2 other characters.
She's all about setup, which I really like, right? Like, she takes a lot of setup to pull off her moves, but if you set it up right, she's a powerhouse.
Well, Mael does too. If you're
Mael's great. Like, I think Mael is the most broken character in the game. Like,
you gotta be thinking like 4 moves ahead with Mael, but yeah, she's extremely broken.
Anytime because there are times in the game where they ask you to like solo 1v1 an opponent, I always pick Mael to do that. She's insane. Her stance switching and her virtuous stance, and like making sure you equip skills to keep yourself in the virtuous stance as long as possible. Yeah. It's a great little system they have with her.
I like Verso too, because do you have Verso yet?
I have Verso, and I'm just starting to learn him with his like perfection system.
Yeah,
right?
so it's like perfection. If you're really good then
dodging
Verso
and parrying,
is cracked. He eventually gets to the point where he's just doing like an insane amount of damage.
Yeah.
But if he gets hit a single time, he gets knocked down a peg and isn't doing that damage anymore. So it's super rewards mastery.
I just love, I love how each character is so different, plays with different mechanics. Gustav, like, he's the simplest one, right? But like even him, right? Like where he's reliant on building up his charge, and he can do a very strong attack, right? Like that's a good way to ease you into the mechanics of this game, where it's like, okay, each character is going to feel drastically different, but here is a relatively simple one, and we're going to ramp up the complexity from there.
Yeah.
Lune also is not the easiest to use, but I feel like she has the greatest amount of build variety with what you can do with her.
You have to do a lot of like all the others I've been able to like not really do.
There's a lot of theory crafting that goes into Lune, I think.
Yeah. You have to there's a lot of planning pre-battle with Lune, whereas the others I have not had to do as much of.
Yeah.
And so I don't like using her. She's not on she's not in the roster.
From a combat perspective, they're all just so interesting in different ways. And as characters, they're all great as well. With the exception
I love
of
Lune as a character. I really like
Lune is great. Like I love how she's so focused on her mission to the point where she can be kind of cold at times.
Yeah.
And I like that. I think a team like this needs someone like that.
And CL's a little goofier and like very cocky, very confident in her combat abilities, which is earned. Did you beat her when you had to fight her at the?
Oh yeah.
I didn't. I lost.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, and she joins you either way. You don't have to win it.
Yeah, that would suck if she just didn't join. But yeah, and I think the voice acting it's great across the board. Even Gustav, even Charlie Cox when he does his whisper acting, I think he does it well. I think honestly though the standout is Mael, right?
For sure.
And she's played by the same woman who played Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3.
I knew she sounded familiar.
I forget her name. Yeah, but that's Shadowheart, and she just does a fantastic job. Huge emotional range.
Looked at any of the development of this game? It's like a team of 30 ex Ubisoft.
Yeah, apparently, well, I've not looked into it too much, but I've heard crazy things. It's like, like they've never made a game before. Like their lead writer was just like some guy,
somebody
who's
who applied
never
to be
anything before.
Well, one of their lead writers, he applied to do voice acting and ended up, I can write English.
That's crazy.
And like their composer had never worked on a game before.
Yeah, he had just put music on SoundCloud, and it's just like just from the unlikeliest of places, these people came together and created a masterpiece.
And it just and I'll say it. It goes to show how incredible of a tool Unreal Engine 5 is. That a team with this kind of really not a ton of experience in this field was able to sit down with this tool and make a genuine masterpiece. I don't think there's any argument that this game is anything but a masterpiece. It may not be your favorite game. It might not be our game of the year, but it is so good. It's
very good.
There have been a lot of years where this would have been my game of the year.
And it might be my game of the year. I don't know. I don't know yet. Though. I mean, I'm still very early. I will say though, like at the beginning, right? Like, I was put off by it came across as like pompous to me almost.
It did. It did a little, but I liked that. That drew me in. That kind of put me off, and I was just like, okay, like if you're gonna present me with this, you better have the chops to back it up with gameplay. They absolutely did. Yeah. Right? Like I just had to wait enough to dive into the systems, but it's not just a looker and it's not just an actor. It plays. Yeah. It is a game rich with systems, and it is very compelling to actually play and also look at. So huge props to Clair Obscur, and I will admit I was wrong. Thank you.
And let this be a lesson. Always give games a second chance. I think it's always worth it to do that, right? Like go into it with a fresh mindset. You might see it a different way. So that's all I have to say about that for now. But I will keep playing it.
You play anything, Mike?
No, I've been playing Oblivion. I guess I've just been like turbo busy and not
it's the summer
gone on a roller coaster. So
yeah,
it's been rough. But I guess Oblivion's all I've been playing, and really on and off.
I mean, Oblivion's like the perfect comfort game. So if you're going through a rough time, there's not a better game.
They knocked me off on Oblivion. They did that update that broke upscaling. Is that fixed yet on Game Pass?
There's mods for it.
I have to install a mod? Like that's stupid.
Well, no,
how have they not fixed?
It's just an engine INI modification.
How have they not? Yeah. Okay, but this is like Bethesda moment to the extreme. It's been like 3 weeks.
An INI file and fix it.
I'm a little furious about this because they like accidentally pushed the console version to Game Pass or something, and it broke upscaling. It took it out of the menu.
All it takes is like a mod, like a 2-second install mod to fix it. That's all it took.
I'm just not willing to do it though. I'm so mad that they would do something so stupid and not fix it that I'm not willing.
Yeah.
I'm mad.
I mean, it is Oblivion though. Like Oblivion's just broke. Oblivion is like inherently broken by nature. I like can't even imagine a bug-free Oblivion.
But but to make it worse post-launch without even doing like a meaningful update, that upsets me. That makes me mad.
One thing I hear about Oblivion right now, at least on console, is that there's a serious memory leak issue. Like if you leave it on, the performance is just going to get worse and worse.
I've heard that too.
So please at least fix that.
That's probably a bug from the original. I feel like that's
not asking for much.
It's probably a bug from the original game because it's tracking. Wasn't that a bug in Skyrim on PS3? Like it was tracking.
I think it was.
All the the location of all the cups or whatever.
Skyrim
Yeah, and
had
that's
a
the thing
save
Bethesda
file
games
bloat
do,
issue that caused issues on PlayStation 3. So if your
Yeah,
save file
their
got
save
over
files
like
are
8
basically
megabytes,
bombs.
yeah, if your save file got over 8 megabytes, you just start getting frame drops after like an hour or two of gameplay.
See that? You gotta do better.
It's crazy.
Bethesda.
It was only on PlayStation too. It wasn't on any other platform.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the original bugs in Oblivion, at least the fun ones, are still there.
Have you?
Which is something we praised when we looked
Yeah.
at that game. I think that was the right move.
Other than paintbrushes and scroll duplication, which sucks. It sucks. The fun's not there. I can't float paintbrushes.
Mike, have you taken a swing at the timed Arch-Tempered Radal?
No, I haven't been in the Monster Hunter World Wilds grind for a while.
I don't think I've been able to beat it in under 15 minutes yet.
Yeah,
No, I don't think I beat it in
them.
under 20. And to get an A rank, you have to beat it in under 13 minutes. So I'm having to like. I changed my build. I realized the reason I was getting stomped was because I had negative 15 thunder resistance. I was obviously getting stomped. I looked at my build. I made some changes to increase thunder resistance, and I made an ice weapon. I'm gonna take some more swings at it, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that sub 13 without just hopping in a veterans lobby and hopping in with some people who know what they're doing and doing it multiplayer. I'd love to do it solo, but I'm in.
Did you turn off support hunters?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna try next. Is turn off support hunters and take my Palico.
Support hunters does raise the HP a substantial amount.
And they don't do enough damage to make up for it.
So I've seen times increase like 2, 3, 4 minutes just because you turn off support hunters.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting to do the pillar drop on it too. So I'm gonna try all that. I'm gonna give it a few more shots, but I'm not that disappointed if I don't get it. It's just a what are they called?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't
charm.
touched either Monster Hunter since the first.
Yeah. Oh wow, so it's been like 2 weeks. Yeah,
it's been like 2 weeks since I've touched a Monster Hunter game. I'm gonna be super rusty.
I'm insanely rusty.
Yeah, man, you want to hop back in? I'll play some Wilds with you if you want to ease back into it.
I will at some point, but it just things keep happening, right? Clair Obscur.
Yeah, Clair Obscur's got my attention.
I want to get through it before Death Stranding comes out.
Clair Obscur
is, I think, in a month.
Supposedly only like 30 hours long, so I'm like halfway.
That's like if you critical path it though, right? Like, but I am like thoroughly exploring it.
Yeah, but there's not that much.
I think it's
side
fun to
stuff.
Explore.
There's like a pretty small, because I've been doing some of the side stuff too.
Well, the map, I mean, there's a lot of locations, and granted, some of them are just like go in here and pick up an item, but like, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, you got to get towards the end of high rank before the game of the year discussion. It would actually really annoy me if you don't do that.
Yeah, I really do. That's gonna be this year's Tears of the Kingdom Ganon fight.
You gotta
have you not even
stop going to Japan every weekend and play some Monster
Hunter. I know, right? What was that, Mike?
Have you not even fought Gore yet?
I don't know the Monster Hunter names, dude.
You just barely started high rank, right?
Yeah, I barely started high rank.
Yeah, Gormagal is like into high rank.
Yeah, Gormagal is like second to last monster. I think Arkvel's end of high
definitely
rank.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta do that.
Yeah, you haven't fought Zoshia. You haven't fought Arch-Tempered Radal.
I fought regular Zoshia.
Yeah, but you haven't fought the real fight with Zoshia. The high rank fight is like
Zoshia.
a massive, like
it's way different.
It's really, really cool. One of the better boss fights I've ever played.
It's just like Switch 2 comes out in a couple weeks.
Yeah, but that's just going to be Mario Kart. There's not going to be anything to play.
There's nothing to play on it yet. That's the thing
I
about
don't know how much
consoles.
mileage I'll get out of Mario Kart.
I mean, I'll play some Mario Kart with you probably. I don't know anybody else getting it.
Yeah,
I'm not buying that Switch 2 until Smash Ultimate 2 comes out. That's all I'm saying.
Ultimate 2, you heard it here
But
first.
you're going to pay $700. They're going to raise that price, dude.
Yeah.
It's going to be at least $80. Book it. Yeah.
No, I mean the Switch 2 price. They're really dancing around the idea that the Switch 2 is going to be more expensive.
Oh, the console itself?
I'm not paying $800 for it. I'm sorry.
It wouldn't surprise me. Xbox raised the price on all their consoles.
Oh my God.
We live in an age where console prices go up and
we should probably talk about that because there's like no reason to buy an Xbox Series X anymore.
Especially all their games coming to PlayStation, and it's very strange.
You can't cost compete with a PC anymore at the prices they're charging. I don't think for what you're getting on a base level Series X, not new. And I didn't think that was how PC would come back in the conversation. But now that you have Intel graphics cards that are quite competent. The Battle Mage GPUs at the low end, as the entry level.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the Series S is the entry level for console, but the Series S was always kind of a weird sell.
Yeah, that's a whole that's
a whole topic
episode in itself. Yeah. All right, well, I think that will do it for us this week. Thank you all for listening. You can follow us at Podcast Game Talk on Instagram, YouTube, Blue Sky, and TikTok. You can click the link in the description to join our Discord and talk to us there, and rate, and review us on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast services you use. Thank you, Connor and Mike.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
See you guys next week.
See you next week. Bye.